Hey guys, it's Wale here. My focus today is about worry, breaking the worry habits. We do know that up to 75 to 90% of all the issues or the conditions that got people into hospitals in the civilized nations are caused by the psychosomatic illnesses. Psycho means my mind, and somatic means my body. So the thinking of the mind that makes the body sick. So we do know that worry is a major issue in our society today. I want to talk to you about worry because we need to start to pay attention to some of the things that go on at the subcortical level. When we worry and we worry and we worry, over time, it locks into the subconscious level of our mind. So many times we do worry, but consciously we are not aware of the activities of our worry. But that does not mean that those activities will not shape our brain chemicals or will not alter our physiological balance. So we will say feel anxious, we'll feel a sense of dread. One thing about worry is that when we worry, we race into the future or we regress into the past. We begin to judge the future based on the pain, the fear of the past. So the present moment becomes polluted based on past neurological wiring of anxiety, of fears, of failures, of rejections. And it's incredible when we worry and worry and worry and it becomes a pattern. The brain has a way of making sure that what we worry about becomes automatic. So synaptically, we're going to be modified. The brain will rewire itself to make permanent, to make automatic, to make familiar a lot of things that the mind is focusing on many times. And that is why we need to start to pay attention to the issue of worry. Now, one thing about worry is this. When we worry, and that worry becomes automatic, it forces the brain into a survival mode. Absolutely. A survival mode is when the brain and the body begins to live the future and the present in the fear, through the fear of the past. So that means that your fight or flight nervous system gets fired. And what happens is that a rush of adrenaline and cortisol gets, gushed into your body system to prepare you for emergency. And what happens is that the entire body will begin to rally around to look for a way to make your internal balances to become balanced, because it's been disrupted, you see, by the extreme survival mode activities. So it gets to a stage that the body could actually give up when it cannot maintain internal balances, because the worrying habit that is perpetuating your fight or flight nervous system continues. And it could get to a place of exhaustion, as the father of modern stress research, Hans Selye, said. First of all, after you've got to a stage where you worry yourself into a state of fight or flight response, the body will get into what we call the resistance stage, where the body will resist and resist and resist and resist. Try to modify your internal chemical state. But if that does not happen, if it fails to do that, you get into an exhaustion stage. And that is when the body gives up. The body says, sorry, I can no longer do this. I've exhausted all my resources. And that is when we become susceptible to different kinds of illnesses and psychological issues. So we do know that worry, a very stressful worry habit, will eventually corrupt your immune system. And once your immune system is corrupt, then you're susceptible to all kinds of illnesses. You will not be able to fight off bacteria and viruses, and things just start to fall apart. Now, how do we change? How do we begin to look for a way not to allow worry to dominate our lives? Of course, it's just much more than just say, okay, just think positively. A lot of people have been told that, but few people are able to achieve a state of mental wellness by just thinking positively. Why? Because it's been hardwired into the fabric of the brain matter. Now, a few suggestions here. Now, the first thing that we have to do is to start to process our worry. If you want to break the synaptic, hardwired part of the worry habit that is making worry automatic, we'll have to raise our collective sense of awareness about worry. And the first thing we do is to start to become mindful of our worry. And one of the most powerful ways of doing that is to start to write down what you worry about. First step, write down what you worry about. Identify your top worry this week and write them down. Write them down. Say, what am I worried about? That's the first question for you to answer. Now, the second question that you should answer is, why am I worrying about this? And how is this worrying affecting my life? Yes. Now, number 3, then you have to ask this question. This is a very powerful question. What is the worst case scenario that could happen with regards to this worry? What is the worst case scenario? Then write down all the worst case scenarios that could happen if everything could go wrong based on all you're worrying about. Now, the number 4 question or step that you should take is to accept the worst case scenario. Now, that's a metacognitive skill that will confuse the amygdala, because you see, it is the fear of not wanting to face the perceived potential consequence that may never even happen anyway. But for the fact that you are facing it on paper gets you into a power position. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, the next step, which is number 5 or 6, is to write down everything that you could do to make sure that the worst does not happen. Write down every single thing that you could do to make sure the worst does not happen. What can I do? Just pretend as if you are a consultant and you want to help someone based on that question, based on those questions that you've evaluated so far. What are the things I could do to ensure that the worst case scenarios do not happen? Your mind is a factory for inventions. Your mind is a factory for ideas. Calm down in a quiet place, put a gentle music on, and write and write. Now, once you finish the last point, which is one of the most powerful points, is to choose one thing from that list and go and do it straight away. Go and do it straight away. Make sure that those that you write down, they are within your power to be able to accomplish them. They are not contingent upon other people. So that means you can actually go and do them straight away. So once you figure those things out, choose one thing and start to go and do them. And I've taught this several times to many people. And I've used this clinically, even personally. If you use it every day, if you use it as often as possible, over time you're going to break the repetitive pattern of thinking that is producing extraordinary chemicals, stress chemicals into your body system. And over time, you are going to modify the brain synaptic connections that have been responsible for anxiety, for worry. You see, once a worry habit is being locked into the recesses of the brain matter, you no longer perceive reality as reality. Trust me. You don't see reality as reality. You perceive reality based on your synaptic self, based on the brain chemicals that have been biased towards worry. So you don't actually see with your eyes. You see with your brain that is already worry friendly, or that's already worry compatible, if you know what I mean. So that's that once you begin to do those steps that I've just stated today, you begin to process your mind. You will eventually develop a stronger level of mind. You will eventually modify or force the brain to adjust its synaptic connections towards calm, towards confidence. So your synaptic self, your brain's chemistry, will no longer be the memory of the past, but the memory of your desired future. I'm Wale Oladipo, right here in Ipswich, just getting ready to meet some lovely people. We've got some amazing stuff to talk about today. Like this, if you've enjoyed this, like it and share it. Absolutely, share it to your friends and let somebody catch something. Let them start to upgrade their thinking, so that they will be able to maintain a better level of mind, better health, better motivation, and better inspiration to be able to enjoy life and be Hey, sorry, I just received some call in between this talk. Thank you so much. All the very best. And I will speak to you soon. Please share this and like it and comment on it. I want to hear what you're saying. I want to hear your thought about this. And all the very best. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.